Hello viewers, in the last lecture we discussed about the population growth and density in India, and today we will discuss about the population distribution in our country. The distribution of population of any country shows the pattern of population. It highlights many inherent characteristics of the population. These characteristics, such as the regional distribution, the distribution according to caste, religion, age group, education status or occupation, are the important indicators of current state of economic growth as well as the potential of growth in future time period. Since human factors are the only active factors in the process of growth, the inherent characteristics of these factors are very important to examine in order to have an idea about the future possibilities and the limitations of the economic growth. In this perspective, in the present lecture, we will discuss about the distribution of growth of population in India in the current as well as the past decades. If we discuss about the state-wise distribution of population, we can see that different states of the country have different land areas, different climate, soil structure and different level of economic activity. Therefore, they are also characterized by different sizes of population. The state-wise share of population in India can be observed from this figure. The figure shows that Uttar Pradesh continues to be the most populous state in the country with almost 200 million people, followed by Maharashtra with about 112 million people and Bihar with 103.8 million people. Further, we can also look at table which shows that the absolute size of population of the 15 most populous states along with their respective shares in total population of the country. The table shows that these states are home to about 90% of total population in the country, while rest of the 20 states and union territories have merely 10% of total population. This situation has remained almost the same in both the decades. There has been no change in the ranking of the states in 2011 as compared to 2001, even though some of the states listed here have increased their share in total population of the country. If we categorize these states by the EAG and non-EAG states, we can observe that except Uttarakhand and Chhattisgarh, all the EAG states are placed in top most populous 15 states of the country. Out of these, except Madhya Pradesh, all of the EAG states have retained their rank in 2011 at the same position as was registered in 2001. Only Madhya Pradesh has moved to take the 6th position from its 7th position, pushing Tamil Nadu at the 7th spot. The proportion of the EAG states out of total population of the country has declined by 1 percentage points between 2001 and 2011, as all of the EAG states except Odisha have experienced a decline in their share in total population of the country. Still, the combined share of the EAG states in total population of the country is about 45%. Thus, a little less than half of the total population of the country lives in these overpopulous and less developed states. Now, coming to the distribution of population by religion. It is very interesting to look at the distribution of population by religion. Based on religious composition, India's population is subdivided into Buddhists, Christians, Hindus, Jains, Muslims, Sikhs and other religious groups that include the tribal religions, Parsis and Jewish populations, etc. Almost 99% of the total population of India falls into one of these 6 categories. As such, these 6 religions are recognized as major religious groups of India. Among the 6 religions in numerical strength, while Hindus occupy the first position, Muslims occupy the second, the Christian occupy the third, and then Sikhs, Buddhists and Jains take the 4th, 5th and 6th positions respectively. According to the 2001 census, Muslims, Christians, Sikh, Buddhist and Jain communities are considered to be minority religious groups, as their numerical strength when compared to Hindus in India as a whole is observed to be less than 20% or so. The information on distribution of population of India according to the religious group is available up to 2001 only. Even though we have the question on religion in the schedule of census 2011, but its results have not been displayed due to several political and other reasons. Still, we can have a good idea of the distribution of population of India on basis of religion from the available information up to the census 2001. This figure shows the distribution of population in India between 1901 and 2001. The figure shows that out of total population of India, Hindus have always comprised a bigger group and Sikhs and Christians remained the minority religions. In the year 1901, there were 194 million Hindus, 29.6 million Muslims, while Christians, Sikhs, Buddhists and Jains accounted for 2.64 million, 1.67 million, 1.31 million and 0.1 million respectively. However, during 2001, the population of the Hindus increased to 827.6 million, while that of Muslims, Christians, Buddhists and Jains, it increased to 138.19 million, 24.08 million, 19.22 million, 7.96 million and 4.23 million respectively. Thus, all the religious groups have shown an increase in their population size. However, as a percentage of total population of India, the proportion of the Hindus declined from 83.5% in 1961 to 80.5% in 2001, while that of the Muslims that increased from 10.7% in 1961 to 13.4% in the year 2001. It is confirmed by various studies that the growth of population for Muslims and that of other religious minorities had remained higher than the Hindu population. Now, coming at the age and sex distribution of population of India. The age and sex distribution of population of a country show the important characteristics of population, whereas the age structure shows the dependency ratio of population and the share of productive population. The sex composition reflect the status of women in the country. Both of these indicators are influenced by a number of other factors such as fertility rate, infant and female mortality rate, life expectancy, the death rate, etc. The age and sex composition of population also highlights the future policy directions, as the countries with a higher proportion of younger population has to invest more in schools, child nutrition and health, while the countries with greater share of productive population, that is the age group 15 to 64 years, may have to deal with the problem of rising unemployment rate. Therefore, it is interesting to know about the age composition of population in India. The age composition of India by residence, sex and age group has been displayed in this table. The table shows that the age group 15 to 59 years constitutes 62.5% of total population of India, and the proportion of younger population, that is 0 to 14 years, is higher than the older population, that is age group of more than 65 years. We can also notice minor gender differences in the age composition of the population. In the age group 0 to 14 years, male population is about 1% more than females, whereas in age group 60 plus and also 65 plus, percentage of females is 0.7% more than the males. The proportion of population in the age group 0 to 14 is higher in rural areas than that in urban areas, both for males and the females. A higher proportion of males and females in the working age group, that is 15 to 59 years, live in urban areas as compared to the rural ones. The age and sex composition of the population of India can also be understood with help of the population pyramids. The population pyramid or the age pyramid is actually the graphical illustration of the age structure of population. The population pyramids for India for the years 2001 and 2026 are displayed in these figures. Due to declining fertility rates experienced in the recent years, the age structure of population is expected to shift from younger population to the age group more than 15 years. It is expected that between 2001 and 2026, due to declining fertility and increased life expectancy, the number of older persons, that is 60 years and above, are said to increase by more than double from 71 million in 2001 to 173 million in 2026, which means an increase in their share out of total population of India from 6.9% to 12.4% between 2001 and 2026, while the proportion of population in the working age group, that is 15 to 59 years, is expected to rise from 57.7% in 2001 to 64.3% in 2026, and that of the age group 5 to 14 years would decline by 8 percentage points from 24% in 2001 to 16% in 2026. Another important factor of the distribution of population in India is to look at this distribution by location of residence. The theories of structural change, they emphasize that as the economy grows, the agricultural sector gradually loses its importance in the gross domestic product as well as employment. These shifts coincide with the urbanization of population. Therefore, as the economy grows, the share of rural population declines and that of the urban population increases. The following figure shows that in case of India, the share of urban population has increased from 10.8% in 1901 to 31.2% in 2011. The rural urban distribution of population for the last two censuses is shown in this table. The table shows that in absolute terms, the addition to population is almost the same for rural as well as urban areas, and this is for the first time since independence that the absolute increase in population is more in urban areas than in rural areas. However, in percentage terms, the proportion of rural and urban population in 2001 was respectively 72.19% and 27.81%, which changed to 68.84% and 31.16% in 2011. To look at the quality of population, now we would discuss about the distribution of population by the literacy rate. The literacy rate in Indian census is defined as the percentage of population aged 7 years and above who can read and write with proper understanding. According to the census 2011, the number of literates in India is 778.5 million, out of which 493 million they live in rural areas and 285.4 million live in urban areas. The total number of literates in the country have increased by 217.8 million since the last census in 2001. Out of this total increment in literate population between 2001 and 2011, 131.1 million belong to the rural areas and 86.6 million to urban areas. The following table shows that in 2011, the literacy rate in India has increased from 64.8% in 2001 to 74% in 2011. That means an increase of 9.2 percentage points in the overall literacy rates. This table also indicates that between the period 2001 and 2011, the improvement in literacy rate in rural areas is 2 times than that of the urban areas. As a result, the rural urban literacy gap is reduced from 21.2 percentage points in 2001 to 16.1 percentage points in 2011. Now, let us come to occupational distribution of population. The occupational distribution of population of a country is an important feature of distribution of population. It also reflects the level of development in a country, as the economic theory suggests that with growth of the economies, the populations move from agriculture to non-agricultural sectors. Therefore, the population in developed countries have a proportionately higher share in manufacturing and the services, while in the developing ones more of it is found in the primary sector. The occupational distribution of population not only shows the proportion of population earning its living in different sectors of the economy, but it also indicates the losing and increasing importance of a particular sector or industry over a period of time. A comparison of occupational distribution of population with the contribution of each sector in national product, this reflects the relative productivity of a particular sector. Thus, the occupational distribution is a mirror image of several inherent characteristics of an economy. For understanding the occupational distribution of population of India, first of all, we shall have a look at the distribution of population among the main workers, marginal workers and the non-workers. Now, what do we mean by these type of categories? The census of India defines these categories as follows. According to this definition, a person is considered a main worker if she has worked for 6 months or more during the reference year, while the marginal workers are defined as the persons who worked less than 6 months. For the first time in the census 2011, the marginal workers have been subdivided into 2 categories, namely those who worked for less than 3 months and those who worked for 3 to 6 months. Similarly, the non-workers are defined as persons who did not work at all during the reference period. This category includes the students, the persons engaged in household duties, the dependents, the pensioners, the beggars, etc. The distribution of population of India in above 3 categories is shown in the following table. In this table, the work participation rate is defined as proportion of workers out of total population. Thus, the work participation rate for India is 39.8%, while the rural urban segregation shows higher work participation rate in rural areas than the urban ones. In absolute numbers, more of the workers as well as non-workers in rural areas. The division of marginal workers in these categories can be observed from this table. The table shows that in 2011, there were 119.3 million total marginal workers, which is about 25% of the total workers in India. Out of these marginal workers, the number of females is more than that of the males. And if we further divide the marginal workers by the period of employment, we can see that in the category of employment less than 3 months, the number of female workers is higher than that of the males, while in the category of employment between 3 to 6 months, the number of males is higher than that of the females. This shows that as compared to males, the females are not only more likely to get employment in part-time and temporary jobs, they are also employed for a relatively shorter period in a year. Actually, this is due to the reason that the employment scenario in India is still dominated by agriculture and other seasonal occupations in which females are mainly employed. Therefore, it is important to examine the sectoral composition of the workers in India. For this purpose, both the main and marginal workers are classified as cultivators, agricultural labor, household industry workers and other workers. These categories are defined as follows. A person is classified as a cultivator if he or she is engaged in cultivation of land owned or held from government or held from private persons or institutions for payment in money, kind or share. A person who works on another person's land for wages in money or kind or share is regarded as an agricultural labor. Census defines household industry as an industry conducted by one or more members of the household at home or within the village in rural areas and only within the precincts of the house where the household lives in urban areas. The larger proportion of workers in the household industry consist of members of the households. All other workers, that is those who have been engaged in some economic activity during the last 1 year, but are not cultivators or agricultural laborers or in household industry, are termed as other workers. The type of workers that come under this category include all government servants, municipal employees, the teachers, the factory workers, plantation workers, those engaged in trade, commerce, business, transport, banking, mining, construction, political or social work, the priests, the entertainment artists, etc. In India, we have observed that the population has largely shifted from rural to urban areas, from the agricultural sector to the non-agricultural sector. However, the regional distribution of the population has not undergone any significant qualitative changes. Other characteristics of the population of India show the distribution on basis of religion, age and sex composition, and of course, the literacy rate. The distribution of population of India has shown important positive trends on all these fronts. For example, the population of India according to the latest census has greater proportion of the literate people, more of them are moving from rural to urban areas. But the analysis of distribution of population, this actually gives the important hints to the policy makers about the dominant groups as well as the sections to be targeted for implementation of a particular program, so that the related benefits can percolate to the maximum number of people. With this, we come to end of this lecture. I hope you would have enjoyed this discussion. Next time we would discuss about the rural urban population distribution in India. Till then, bye bye, have a nice time.